What up, B Squad? It's your boy JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for Abbott Elementary. Sorry this is late, you guys. I know that I've been late the last, 2 weeks, but neither here nor there. We're here, and let's discuss Abbott. So this is season 4. This is episode number, what episode number was this? I want to get it right before we get into it. This was season 5, episode 4. Game night is a title of this episode. It was a funny episode. I got a good laugh out of it. But I want you guys to tell me what you thought about the episode down in the comments section below. Before we get into it, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you guys are not yet subscribed, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, you guys, turning on your post notifications, and also by sharing the video. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and discuss the Real Housewives, wrong show, Abbott Elementary, shall we? Now this episode, it opens up, so we see as Barbara, her and Melissa are with the kids, and they are playing Duck Duck Goose, right? And this is literally a time for Barbara and for Melissa to talk to each other while the kids play Duck Duck Goose, right? Now we see as Barbara is telling Melissa that she's not going to get into this show. And I was like, what show are we talking about? She said, even though it does have the things that she loves, Island and people looking and love. I was like, so you're talking about Love Island UK. And that's exactly what they were talking about, right? Now the kids are still playing Duck Duck Goose, and the little girl, she keep going around, duck, 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 and Melissa's like, baby, just find the goose. So she was getting ready to say goose, but in flew a pigeon. Now the pigeon flew in because Jacob came into the gym to tell them, like, can you keep the classrooms closed because there's a bird that is flying in the hallways. And Barbara was like, the hallway has got nothing to do with us. There's a hallway monitor that can deal with that. So the bird flew into the gym and it flew into the kitchen. She's like, that's the kitchen's problem now. I was like, wow. So then we moved to the teacher's lounge. So Janine comes in talking about her water broke, and A was like, see, I knew she was pregnant. She was like, in my apartment, a pipe bust, right? So Janine is telling them, since the water is busting her apartment, she can't host game night. And so Jacob was like, I can host game night. And Melissa's like, no, you cannot. And Gregory is like, stand up for yourself. He's like, well, I can host it in my room. She said, no, you can't. He said, no, I can't. So then Gregory decides that he wants to host game night. And, because he said, Janine, you said my apartment is very, I believe he said industrial. And I was like, oh, Gregory Eddie. I'm like, I can't wait to see what this apartment looks like, right? Now, we find out that Mr. Johnson is going on a vacation to New Orleans, right? The next week. So Barbara was like, do you have your real ID? And I don't think he has his real ID. So Barbara was like, you know what? I need to go down to the DMV and renew my license, right? And Melissa was like, I need to go down there too. And Abe's like, I need to go down there as well. So they're going to make a trip of it to go to the DMV. Ugh, the DMV. Now, we see Janine as she went over to Gregory's house to help Gregory set up for game night. And when we get to Gregory's apartment, my God, today, that apartment. That apartment. So Gregory is in a studio apartment, and there's nothing against anybody who lives in a studio apartment, right? But so you know what a studio is? It's your living room, your bedroom, kitchen, they're all in one, right? So you see his bed, you see he got a bench press and a chair with nothing on it. I was like, oh God. And then you see his kitchen. I was like, what is this, Gregory? Can we put a little splash of something in his apartment? Something to make it visually appealing, because it really wasn't visually appealing. But okay, Gregory, if you like it, I don't love it. I really don't love it, but hey, whatever, right? But Gregory is like, he got everything set up, right? And Janine was like, where are the chairs? he had I think like a beanbag. I don't even think it was a beanbag chair, but he had Gregory aesthetic of things, right? So Erica came over and she was like, "What are we doing here? Like this is a sterile ass apartment." And so Gregory asked her, "Do you want a drink?" She was like, "Sure." He's like, "Bottled or filtered?" She was like, "Alcohol comes in bottle or filtered?" I was like, "I don't think that's what he's talking about, Erica, but hey, go on, girl." Now, we move over to the DMV, right? So at the DMV, we see as Melissa got her number, it is B12. So Melissa thinks that she's next because they just called B10, right? And so Barbara asked Mr. Johnson, like, "Do you have all the documentation that you need in order to get your driver's license?" And he was like, "I got everything that I need." I said, "Do you, Mr. Johnson? Because I don't think you do." Now, so the next number that was called was B15. And Melissa was like, "Hey, like they skipped completely over B12, B13, 14, all of that stuff, right?" And so they called B15, and Mr. Johnson happens to be B15, right? So Mr. Johnson went up to the desk where the woman was, stank ass attitude, just rude. I was like, "Girl, if you don't want to be here, just do that. Just say you don't want to be here." So Mr. Johnson wrote on his form in blue ink, but he has to write it in black ink. So she sent him back to redo that form. I said, "Ain't no way in hell I would have cussed that bitch out." I would have cussed that lady from here to Timbuktu. And when I say bitch, I don't mean bitch, and I don't mean it. I'm just saying I would have cussed that lady out. So we see Ava. So Ava is looking up mugshots. So you see Glorilla's mugshot. You see that former inmate turned model Jeremy Renner. I think that's his name. I could be wrong. And then you saw Lindsay Lohan's mugshot. So Ava is like, they take the same camera and lighting that they use for mugshots is what they use at the DMV. I was like, is that for real? But I guess so, because when you look at I said mugshot, but when you look at your driver's license picture, it do look like a mugshot. It really do. But hey, neither here nor there. So after that, Mr. Johnson went back up there again. So the woman says, "You have your documents from Section A." He had all of his documents from Section A. She said, "What about Section B?" He said, "No." She said, "So it's either Section B or Section C." So next, I was like, damn. So Barbara was next up to go to the woman. She's like, "Mr. Johnson, I'm gonna talk to that woman. We are gonna get you your real ID." So Barbara went up, and so she gave the woman her form. She's like, "My friend, Mr. Johnson over there, he is going to New Orleans, and we need to get him a real ID." And so the woman looked at Barbara's license, and she said, "You have to take the written exam because your license has been expired for 2 years." I said, "Wait a minute, Barbara. You've been driving on an expired license for 2 freaking years? No, ma'am. We ain't playing these games, Barbara Howard." Now, we move back over to Gregory's place, right? They're playing some kind of game, and then we see Jacob. He shows up with his date. His name is Simon. And Simon is like, "This is a very firm couch." And Gregory is like, "Yeah, when he got it, it was really soft." So he took out some of the cotton. I was like, "Why would you do that?" So now my ass is sitting on something hard? Hell no. Absolutely not. So we see that Gregory's like, he smells an aroma because that means it's done. And I was like, "What's done?" Because he told Erica, "I got some alcohol for you." She's like, "Oh, you do? What is it?" He said, "Homemade kombucha." I said, "What?" Now, I know what kombucha is, but I've never had it, and I don't want to try it. I hear people say it's good, but it just don't sound like it's anything for me. Nope. Now, also, Erica's boyfriend came. Wait, is Erica's boyfriend is Simon? I think the guy that is with Jacob, his name is Elijah or something like that. Y'all can correct me. Now we move back over to Barbara with taking this written test, and she is talking out loud. So one of the questions is like, "What do you do when you get to the crosswalk?" Right? So it has A, B, and C. Barbara's like, the answer is always A. Barbara, I've always, whenever you guess, go with C. That's what I used to do when I took tests. I was just guessing go with C, not A. But A is 100% wrong. It said when you get to the crosswalk, Barbara says A. Answer choice A says you speed up. When you see you increase your speed at a crosswalk. I said, no, you don't. You slow down. Now, Melissa, however, has still not been called to go get her driver's license, right? But Ava was. And so Ava said, you know what, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to talk to them on behalf of you, right? So Ava is up here brushing her hair and talking to the man about Mr. Johnson. And while she's doing her hair, he clicked. And she's like, whoa, 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 you finna redo that again. So he said, okay, on the count of three. 1, 2, click. She's like, you didn't even say 3. So Ava's in her arguing with this man about the picture. Back over here with Barbara. Barbara got a question about what do you do if you see livestock in the road? And she's like, why would I be driving on the farm? I said, oh God, Barbara, why do you have keys to the car? Because even when that woman realized that her license was expired and she realized that she was driving, Barbara quickly threw them keys in her purse. I was like, no, Barbara, no, Barb, absolutely not, right? So we moved back over to game night, right? I think it was Jacob's date who had to go to the bathroom. So there were no paper towels in the bathroom and there are no hand towels. I was like, so what do you wipe your hands on? Your clothes? And that's exactly what Janine did. She just had the boy wipe his hands on her. I was like, absolutely not, Janine. Simon sat on the weight bench and fell. I was like, this part is going just downhill. I mean, just going downhill like it ain't shit. So we move on. Game night keeps going downhill, right? Okay, so the guy's name is Elijah. At one point, there was this beat that happened in Gregory's apartment, and they were like, what the hell was that? So Gregory is measuring the CO2 levels in his apartment. He thinks that because of Simon coming, it increased it. So he's gonna let up a window. Now, mind you, it's October and we're in Philly, right? So I'm pretty sure it's a little chilly. And they were also complaining because the AC was on and the AC was at 60 degrees. I said, damn. I mean, I can't really talk because mine is at 69 currently, but I'm in Texas and it's not cold. Which, I mean, it do be kind of cool in the mornings, but it ain't cold right now. But neither here nor there. Now, we did see as Gregory and Elijah did kind of get along with each other, and I was like, are y'all both two cheapos? Is that what this is giving? So, moving back over to DMV. Melissa's number still ain't called because they called O with O something like on bingo, and she was like, oh, come on. I was like, exactly, somebody's fucking with you. So, Barbara over here is failing her test. I think you needed a 13 out of 18 to pass, but Barbara is failing miserably. I mean, if a woman thinks that you should speed up at a crosswalk, and why would she be driving on a farm? Barbara, you do know livestock can get out of fences, but okay, whatever. So back over with Gregory. When he measured like I said, he was measuring the air quality, right? So he decided to want to open up a window. When he opened up the window, a pigeon flew in. And so now everybody's trying to get the pigeon out. And so Eric was like, you know what, let's play 2 truths and a lie. It's too damn cold in here. Kombucha isn't real alcohol and this party sucks. I was like, well, I mean, those ain't no lies. Well, I guess maybe 2 truths and a lie. Because is kombucha really alcohol? Because the party sucked and 60 degrees is fucking cold. So Gregory is asking Janine, like, does this party suck? And she was like, you know, you could have done this and you could have done that. So we saw as they left and they came back with some stuff to actually make it fun. You know, they came with some alcohol, they actually came with some games, and I was like, yeah. But before they left out, you see Simon and Erica on Gregory's bed just to make it out. I was like, oh wow. Now back over to the DMV. Melissa's number finally got called, right? And so when she went up there, the lady was like, "Where's your ticket?" And she was like, I don't know where it is." The ticket was on the floor. The janitor came up, vacuumed over that damn thing. I said, "Damn, all this time, and she is screwed, right?" But I know one thing: they were finally able to get Mr. Johnson his real ID, only to find out Mr. Johnson has a passport. I was like, "Wait a minute, Mr. Johnson, you got a passport, so you don't need a real ID. Well, you do need an ID, but to get on the plane, you can use a passport and or your driver's license." Speaking of which, I hope my new one comes by next week because I'm flying to Atlanta, and I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine with the one that I got because it just expired this year. One thing is they cut it. Hopefully I can fly with that one. We're gonna pray. We're gonna pray. But I'm hoping my new one comes next week because I just did it last week. So next week will be 2 weeks. But yeah, you guys, that's the episode of Abbott. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, you guys. Turn on your post notifications. Share the video. And until the next time, you guys, do me a solid favor. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. So next up, you guys, well, before you guys see this, I will go live to discuss the Netflix documentary, The Perfect Neighbor. And then after this, you guys will see how do I say Beyond the Gates? But you guys will see Beyond the Gates, a pre-recorded video of Beyond the Gates. But that'll probably be sometime tomorrow that you guys see it. But what you guys will see after this is reasonable doubt. So yeah, again, you guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.